A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. It's the first one for the week, and it promises to be exciting. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, of course, like I said, it's the first edition of the show for the week. We'll be talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they prepare to play against Liberia in the continued quest to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, trying to get to the next stage. All right. Austin is also with us on the show tonight as well.
Spotty greetings to you, Yemi, and of course to our viewers for watching us from different parts of the world. It's good to be on the show. In London, I'm Austin of Konakwan. Yes, Yemi, the Super Eagles of Nigeria getting ready for that crucial game against the Blue Sharks and the Lone Stars. You know, we're talking about the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier, and it's a big deal because you seal this part, you get ready, you know, for the next serious phase of the qualifier. So we will definitely give attention to that one. Super Eagles players are already touching down right there at their base, and of course we'll talk about the Women's CAF Champions League, Rivers Angels. Not a good outing for them today, but hey, it's football where anything can happen, and lots of other sporting events going down. We'll talk about it on the show also.
All right, so that's it, and Austin will also try to give our viewers a slice of swimming. We'll also talk about weightlifting on the show as well as we move on. And just like you rightly said, we've gone to that period on the FIFA calendar where international football takes center stage, just as Nigeria is preparing to play those crucial qualifiers. Other African countries as well are doing theirs, and it extends globally. So we'll see what happens with all of that as we go on. All right, let me quickly introduce our guest from our Lagos studio. Is right here with me. Tolokwe Atobatele joins me now. Tolu, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Yeah, good evening to you, of course. You know, it's good to be back on the show once again, you know, to acquaint, of course, and disseminate information as it's happening in the world of sport. You know, and the most important one, you know, coming in 2-3 days' time when we have the qualification series, match day 4 and 5. You know, of the qualification to the FIFA
5 and 6,
the next FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Nigeria, of course, you know, wanting to scale the hurdle of Liberia, you know, before coming to Lagos, you know, to make it try, you know, fly, you know, past the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde, you know, in the last match before we know our fate, whether we move on to the final hurdle, you know, which comes up in March next year. But you know, it's a good one, and also looking at other sports as well, you know, of course, swimming, basketball, and most of you know, other stronghold as far as Nigeria is concerned in the sporting world.
All right, so that would be interesting to note. All right, let me just quickly go back to Austin. Where do we start the show from tonight, Austin? Let's start with weightlifting. And, of course, we're talking about the President, Ibrahim Abdul. He's been talking about some interesting things. And, you know, we started on the show for a while. We'll be looking at the presidents-elects, those who are either returning to their former post or those who have just been freshly elected, and we're looking at some of the things, some of the plans that they have. So let's start the show with weightlifting, their plans, and some of your thoughts.
No, weightlifting, you know.
Yeah, so we're going to get to that. You know, we're listening to the president of the Weightlifting Federation, but Austin was about to share his thoughts about weightlifting and what the plans of the president and what he might be able to achieve in this tenure.
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to take a good look at weightlifting because it's a sport that we know we used to do so well back in the day, but yeah, I mean, in the last 4 years, it's been suffering a decline. And sometimes if you go closely to take a look at the problems, you see it's tied around administration and management. So now that there's a new president, we want to see something good come out of weightlifting. Nigeria couldn't produce any weightlifter at the last Olympics, which is pretty disappointing. I think we also struggled at the Rio 2016 Olympics with weightlifting. So it will be good to listen to the president, and not just this time. We should find a way. He should make time to come around so we can actually speak to him, know the goals and objectives that he has for the Weightlifting Federation, because this is one sport where, as I said, Nigeria used to dominate. So why the decline? So what happened? What didn't we do right? Why are we struggling? All of that we need to know, because first, before we can talk about repositioning the sport, we must identify the problems and move ahead to solve them.
Austin, and talking about repositioning the sport, let's listen to the president of the Weightlifting Federation, Ibrahim Abdul, speaking his mind, sharing his thoughts with us on how to reposition weightlifting. So we'll take a listen to him now.
We are looking at repositioning weightlifting, bringing back weightlifting to the front burner. Our athletes, our coaches are really the top priority for us. And as we speak to you, we were in camp already in Lokoja. We invited 7 athletes to camp for the past 2 weeks now, and they will be there until they go for the qualifiers in Uzbekistan. So these are the things we are doing. We are really ready to move weightlifting forward. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of the people we have in camp. It's about going there to make headway. We're not going for jamborees. These are people who are already made either #1 in Africa in their category, or people who from the record medal hopeful. So this is what we want to do now. Those ones who are very sure of them, the 7 of them are people we believe are top in their category. And then there are other qualifiers that might come. They will also expose the other athletes. But for now, we want to keep it 7. And Uzbekistan is a very far place. So there's also an economic aspect to it also. And so these are the things we are looking at. And this was informed our decision. See, from what we are doing now, we are projecting the sport. You see, first of all, once people believe in your vision, they are willing to key in. We are collaborating with a lot of stakeholders, people, the military and paramilitary. Already we are having a championship on the 8th of this month in Abuja, IGP, that's the police championship, on the 8th till 12th of this month. And that's how we want to start. In January, we want to have the Chief of Army Staff championship, where so many of the divisions and all other paramilitary will key in. So you see, when we do that, people can trust us, and then they will be willing to trust us with their funds. It's about collaboration with the private sector. You understand? Our major objective is private sector driven. You understand? And for private sector, it's value for money. Sport is no more for leisure alone. There's a business aspect to sport. And so this is what we are bringing in. You can see what we are trying to do.
All right, that's it. So the Weightlifting Federation president speaking his mind on that. So look, well, let me just get your thoughts before we get back to Austin. He has given us the perspective, but we listened to the Federation president there highlighting the activities of the Federation, also talking about a competition that is going on as we speak. I'm very happy when I see that these federations are busy, but then again, hopefully we're going to be seeing results very soon.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it is one thing, to be busy, and the other thing, of course, to know exactly what you want to achieve at the end of the day, you understand? So you can't just say you are busy all in the name of, getting yourself busy or the federation busy, you understand? So, but, there must be a focus, you understand? So you must, of course, be aiming at something, at the end of the day, maybe you're looking at, producing, the next, world beaters as far as, weightlifting is concerned, those who can represent the country, at the world, of course, event, and make sure, they do the country proud. But again, coming back home, looking at the activities, of weightlifting in Nigeria, this is one sport, where we dominated African, of course, scene in the past. So, and everything, just went under the drain like that. But thank God, we have a president, who is, putting in all his effort, to make sure, weightlifting, get back to how it was, of course, in Nigerian football sector, and of course, wanting everybody, to reckon with our lifting. Remember that we still have a couple of weightlifters, of course, that are doing the country proud every now and then, you understand? So, and the private sector, coming in, to support, of course, the federation, of course, it will be a good omen for everybody at the end of the day. But me, I am looking, I'm looking, at the future, of course, what do we really want to achieve as far as weightlifting is concerned in Nigeria? You understand? So, do we really know, or what really we want? Have we been able to highlight, of course, what we want to,
and how to get there.
Exactly, and how to get there. So,
right.
But we can, the best thing is to, bring everybody, of course, on board of weightlifting. So, as I pointed out that private investors, of course, are coming in gradually into weightlifting in Nigeria. That is a welcome development. So, and I will implore everybody, of course, to fully get behind weightlifting. So, and at the end of the day, everybody will smile home.
All right. At the end of the day, everybody will smile. That's the hope. That's what we hope to see. All right. Austin, let's move on the show. Let me allow you to take it from here. Let's talk about swimming. And there has been talks, the newly elected president talking about taking swimming to the riverine areas, to people where you don't need to start teaching them the basics. They already know what to do. And I think that's a very good place to start. We've talked about people in all of those areas that already know the basics. To them, it's leisure. But if we reposition, we reorganize ourselves, we can get the best from some of them.
Yeah, I mean, time and time again, we've said it that Nigeria is so blessed with talents. Our problem isn't talents about, deliberate planning. It's about talent discovery and ensuring that you go on to nurture those talents that have been discovered. Just like the weightlifting president spoke about. It's nothing new. We're tired of hearing, we're getting ready for this competition and 10 persons are in camp, they will do this. Nah, we want deliberate planning. Give us timelines. Tell us that this phase of planning, you're going to develop policies. The next phase of planning, you review the policies, and then you go on to implement those policies. That's the same thing we need to do with swimming, because you just said it, that we've got the talents, and yes, we do. And why I think we should be winning with swimming is because it starts getting the attention of kids at a very tender age. I've covered loads of swimming competitions in Nigeria, and I'm like, wow, we have this sort of talent. You go to the riverine areas, you have those talents, but what we're missing is we lack the expertise to bring about the techniques that will make them, world beaters, that will make them world champions. Because if you check private schools, in secondary schools in Nigeria, they have swimmers who they take to international competition and they win. But you see, at that level, you must start planning progression. So they finish at secondary school level. What
all right,
next?
Austin.
That boy will now lose interest in swimming.
Austin, let's. That's a quick update that we need to give the viewers. We're going to continue with some of the things that we've been talking about. But live pictures on your screen. This is the Anambra Collection Center in Awka, where a briefing is about to begin with regards to the Anambra governorship election. So let's just, we're going to this now as they begin the briefing. Have your seat.
Okay, so once again, I welcome everybody to this program. Without taking much time, I would like to quickly return the proceedings to the collation and returning officer for the states. She's Professor Florence Obi. She's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar. Prof, you have it.
Thank you, Ray. National Commissioners, the Commissioner of Police, the Rex, party agents and party faithfuls, other heads of security services, different security services, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me join the resident electoral commissioner to welcome you back to the second phase of Anambra 2021. We are back to the State Collation Center, and I want to thank especially the media crew, the gentlemen of the press, for the wonderful work they are doing keeping Nigerians informed of what is happening in Anambra State as it relates to the gubernatorial election. I want to appreciate you for the great job you are doing. I want to remind all of us that 2 days ago, before we adjourned proceedings and called for supplementary election in Ihiala local government area, we have displayed results of 20 of the 21 local government areas. And I did inform you of the need to allow Anambra people have a say in who becomes their governor, and by giving a fair playing ground to Ihiala, people of Ihiala local government area, and bringing Ihiala local government at par with the other 20 local government areas. The election is ongoing, and we are waiting for the collation officer and his team from Ihiala local government area. But while we wait for them to come to join us, I want to inform you that because we had an adjourned session then, and I had, in your presence here, collated the results of 20 local government areas in the from EC 8D without the result of Ihiala. Today, I'm going to transfer in your presence the results that were collated on that day to a new form, EC8D, while we wait for the result of Ihiala local government and the full view of everybody. I am getting this done. This is the result sheet, summary of results from local government areas collation at constituency level from EC8D. This is the one we are going to use to replace the one I worked on the other day. It's nothing written yet. And I'm going to use the other form that I completed. The one I collated 2 days back, I'm going to transfer the figures here, the information and data here, to this and replace it. Replace this with this one. So thank you very much, and I'm going to start immediately doing this while we wait for Ihiala results to come in. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for your patience, for your commitment to the country Nigeria and to Anambra State in particular. Thank you. I don't know which one will even print more, because I noticed that day after giving out about 5, the other ones were no more clear. So is there anyone that will be clearer? This one. This one might be clearer.
You're still watching the live broadcast of the collation of the governorship election results of the Anambra governorship election here in the Awka INEC office. And at the moment, the first female vice chancellor of the University of Calabar, who is a returning officer, has begun the process of entering the results manually into Form EC88. So this might take a bit longer than we can imagine, because she has to manually enter them one after the other in full view of everyone. But we keep tabs, and as soon as a result from Hiala comes through, we will come back to the live telecast of this process. We'll go back to our regular programming now.
All right, you're welcome back. Of course, we've been watching updates from the governorship election in Anambra State, the INEC Collection Center in Awka there. We'll keep filling you in with what is happening as regards the announcement of results from that election. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll let you know. Trust us, when there's something to report, we will let you know. As of now, the results are still being collated, and some of the results being filled manually, as we have just shown to you. Now we'll continue with sports tonight, but trust us, if there's anything to let you know, we will do that on the show. So let's move on with the show, and let me just come to you quickly, Tolu. Before we went to the Collection Center in Awka, we were talking about swimming, and I remember saying something, quoting, not word for word, but quoting what the newly elected president of the Swimming Federation saying, the person of Chinonye Dapi, the president of the Swimming Federation, saying, look, the plan now is to take swimming to all riverine areas, and to, in a bid to discover talents. Because, look, and like Austin said while he was speaking, that there's abundance of talents. And these guys in those riverine areas, you don't even need to teach them the basics. They already know these things. You just need to harness the potentials that are already there.
Yeah, of course, this is what now we've been craving, these past years, that, we should, try as much as possible, to take sports, to the grassroots. Of course, and looking at it, we have a talents abounds everywhere in the country, but just as you rightly pointed out, that we don't need to teach them the basics. All we need is, of course, impart, of course, in them techniques, to make them, of course, perform better, and make them champions of the world as far as swimming is concerned. Now, looking, at the, taking swimming to riverine areas where we have, young ones. Of course, when you go to riverine areas and see young ones, swims, you will be marveled, of course, and you will be asking yourself question, wow, we have these people here.
Yeah.
What have we been doing, these past years? Because why have not been able to...
let me just butt in quickly. Let's listen to the president of the Swimming Federation. She's going to elaborate on some of the things we've been talking about. Then we'll come back and react to some of the things she has to say.
Because for the first time, FINA, that's the world governing body, has admitted Nigeria into their high-performance centers in Kazan, Russia. So we have 3 persons there. 2 are there now, 1 is joining in December. So I am sure, by the grace of God, that they will now get that required training. And then we have 1 foreign based in America that represented us in African, and he's also, training even with the Australians as South Africans. So we are sure, by the grace of God, that even in Commonwealth Olympics, we should make a good showing. I'm from Delta State, and I was chairman for 8 years. And I used to feel, why is it like this? But in Delta State, we do a lot of things that other people are not doing. The children, we have a center, I will call it a swimming stretch. The children go to school in the morning, they swim in the afternoon. Weekends, they swim from morning, all day. So we have a continuous training program. It's just that level of stepping up. But like you said, at the grassroots, what are we doing? So we're now going to continue we're going to start doing local government championship, state championship, zonal championships, and we even want to do things like open water. What is Arugungu Festival doing without swimming when they have open water? So those are the areas we are going to exploit. Like I said, I was chairman for a long time, and I was seeing the development of these things, and I thought it could be better. If we do more championships, at least they have something to aspire, to look up to. Even these paramilitaries, they also do come for only Chief of Naval Staff. So we want to even encourage them to do their own, not just Chief of Naval Staff. Police should do championship because they do very well. So we are going to encourage all of them to be doing, and we will just be in charge, we will supervise, we will bring people to, officiate and so on. So, like you said in my tenure, I want to do a lot of things. I don't want to wait for second tenure. This first tenure, let us do all these things that I've been dreaming that it could be better.
All right, welcome back. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, there's just so much to talk about on the show. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still monitoring proceedings from the INEC Collection Center in Oka, talking about the Anambra governorship elections. Like we told you, our eyes are on what is happening right there, and we're monitoring as we await the announcement of the results. Of course, the election was held in one local government this morning, and that's in Ihiala local government. And so with the end of that election today, next thing definitely is the announcement of results. So we're monitoring proceedings. Our fingers are right on it. And once there's anything you need to know, we'll bring it to you. We'll revert at any point there is something to say. But just to let you know that the process has begun, and at any moment when the results are being announced, we'll go back to it and let you know what exactly is happening right there in Awka, Anambra State, talking about the governorship election. All right, so let's move on the show. Let me quickly go to Austin. Of course, news comes first, and we have to do what it is that we have to do. But in spite of that, we'll still continue talking sports. And before we went to the election updates, you were talking about swimming, and you were talking about some of the things that we could do to ensure that we discover talents and nurture them to stardom.
I was saying that we need to be deliberate with our planning, that it goes beyond just saying that, oh, we've got the talent. We must find out ways to refine those talents. Like, we've got a lot of swimmers in the riverline areas, but do they have the techniques to compete? Are those skills sharpened? Do they understand the sport of swimming? Because swimming is an art. It's not just about jumping into water and then you move your hands and your legs, and then because you know you can do it, you think you can go to the Olympics and win. We need to study successful models. The president said a lot of good things, but we need to put talks into action, you know. And for me, one of those things we can do is ensuring that we make swimming enjoyable. That's one. We also need to pump up the interest. If you check and do a comparative analysis, the guys in the private schools, in private secondary schools and primary schools in Nigeria, they love swimming. They're doing well with swimming. We don't have the same with public schools. And you know the reason, infrastructure. Why the private guys can afford to have a swimming pool, the guys in the public schools can't do that. So we need to address those little issues. And as I said, I love the fact that young talents are emerging for swimming. It's the progression that we lack. So it means there's no structure. The federation must build a structure, work with the states, work with the schools, make policies and implement them that will ensure proper development. You know, we look at a country like Nigeria. We took only Abiola Ogunbanwo to the Tokyo Olympics, and she could only do what she could do. But if we have proper structures in place and we're deliberate about taking swimming from one level to another, then the story will be different. You mean?
Yeah, well, hopefully that will be done. All right, Austin, while we're still on that matter, let's talk about women's football. Not a good story from Egypt, the things that we're hearing. And I'm very sure Tolu will comment about it later on. But I put it to you because you brought it up. 2 straight losses for Rivers Angels. Mathematically, we are here again. We are here again. Mathematically, they can still qualify, even though it doesn't look good. At this point, they don't have... Let's talk about what happened today. Viga Queens, of course, defeated Asfa Club of Morocco 2-0. Rivers Angels lost to Mamelodi Sundowns, the team from South Africa. As of now, Mamelodi Sundowns have 6 points. They have qualified for, no matter what happens in the other matches, they have qualified. But we have a situation where some will say that if Rivers Angels play, they'll be playing their last game against Viga Queens. If they win that, they nullify Viga Queens. If Mamelodi Sundowns do them a favor by defeating the other club. But, you know, it's complicated maths. And I didn't expect Rivers Angels, a very strong team on the domestic scene in Nigeria. I didn't expect it would happen like this, because if you put them side by side, some of these teams, they have more pedigree.
So yeah, it is what you sow, you reap. That's it, right? And you know, this is a testament of Rivers Angels' preparation for the competition. How did they get ready? When did they arrive at the competition? What level of importance did they place on this? It's the maiden edition of the CAF Women's Champions League. It's a big deal. This doesn't just give you bragging rights. It brings some level of awareness, exposure, relevance to club football in countries. Viga Queens is a women's football club in Kenya. And they are already topping the table that will have Rivers Angels. Unfortunately, there are a lot of talking points as regards what happened with Mamelodi Sundowns today. They lost 1-0 and it was a very contentious goal. But I'm saying, Rivers Angels, what's going on? You've played 2 matches and you're not scoring. Then there's a problem. You know, we've always talked about it that when you have issues with officiating or the way home fans treat you, if you're getting the results, then it won't matter. Rivers Angels have just been poor. That's what it is. But I just hope that this will be a good eye-opener, that the officials of the club will now see that this is a big deal, give more attention to your teams, and, you know, find a way that you can make them winning. But I had a lot of high hopes for Rivers Angels at this competition because I thought this would be good branding for the Nigerian Women's Football League. You know, when you have your representatives go to this sort of competition and impress. But unfortunately, in a very tight situation now, we can only hope and do the permutations and hope that they still stay in the competition.
Yeah, the calculators are out. I'm very reluctant to use it. You know, like you said, Austin, they've conceded 4 goals now. So if anything is going to happen, they didn't score in the first 2 matches. So if anything is going to happen, they have to score like 5 or 6 goals and hope that Mamelodi Sundowns defeats the Moroccan club. I don't know if Mamelodi Sundowns will do them any favors since they have qualified. But Tolu, let me get your thoughts. We need to move on because we're pressed for time. But let me get your thoughts. Are you surprised with what you've seen from Rivers Angels?
Yeah, of course, you know, if I say I am surprised, of course, I think that should be an understatement because for me, as Austin rightly pointed out, so what was the preparations like, you know, before traveling to, I think, Egypt, you know, for the maiden edition of CAF Women's Champions League. So, and that goes to tell you the level at which, you know, our football, of course, has deteriorated in Nigeria because, you know, we have refused, you know, to do what we are supposed to do. So, you know, thinking we can just override all these teams, you know, from other parts of African countries. But now looking at it, women football, and the biggest shame part of it is, you know, Rivers Angel, you know, going down to Sundowns of South Africa because, you know, now, you know, they have the bragging right. Of course, the national team, Bayana, you know, dusted, you know, the Super Falcons right in front of club side, and now the clubs have also dusted the Rivers Angel, the biggest, of course, the biggest female, you know, club side in Nigeria, Rivers Angel. I think, you know, for me, you know, we should sit down and, of course, you know, every time we say we go back to the drawing board,
we should reflect on what happened.
Of course. No, now it is time for us, you know, to put our heads together to see where did we get it wrong as far as football is concerned in Nigeria. The men are not doing very well. The ladies now, of course, you know, are getting battered and shattered in African football. So just a maiden edition. So, and we are seeing that this result. So now, what happened when the second, the third, and the subsequent editions, you know, comes around? So, but now the management of the club, of course, they need to sit down, the position at the club, of course, look at where, of course, you know, they can dip their hand into and make sure, you know, the proper solutions moving forward.
All right, get the solutions as they move forward. I don't envy Rivers Angels. I don't envy their handlers. It's a tough task, the one that lies ahead of them. All right, let's move on the show. Austin, let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's our next port of call. 3 players still expected in camp, but the others are already in camp, training, and in a few days we're going to be up against Liberia. And these days you don't want to be overconfident, because just when you get overconfident, football teaches you a lesson, and sometimes the Super Eagles do let you down too, because that must be said. But shouldn't really be a problem, Austin. This game shouldn't really be a problem.
It shouldn't be a problem, but we saw Central African Republic being a problem. You know, we also saw the team struggle to play at Cape Verde. I was speaking to a colleague at the BBC, and he said, Austin, your team lately can't even win away. But it was like, since we're not playing this in Morovia, but in Morocco, maybe they might just make a difference. And I said, look, these days I don't know how to talk about national team football anymore. But this is the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and I'm sure they're still hurting from that defeat to Central African Republic. And what we're seeing in camp, you can tell that they look ready to take on on Liberia. Yeah, that's it. Throwing a punch into our faces right there. We just hope that we'll see the same team when they fight against Liberia. Camp is buzzing. 21 players already on ground, so it shouldn't be a worry. I mean, you know, when we're playing Liberia, playing Cape Verde, you and I shouldn't have any worry. But you can't blame, you know, persons who have doubts these days because of, you know, the level of surprises I was seeing when the Super Eagles play. But no worries for me in this one. It's a neutral ground. Go out there, you know, give a dominance display, and then wrap it up against the Blue Sharks and seal your spot for the next round.
All right, still being expected, Victor Osimhen, Odion Ighalo, and John Noble, those three players. But the list you have on your screen are players that are already in camp. So just three players being expected: Victor Osimhen, Odion Ighalo, and John Noble. And I told you a few words. It shouldn't be a problem. Ideally, it shouldn't be a problem, but you never can tell.
It's football, you understand. So now, and it depends on how the Super Eagles, you know, approach the game. So, and as Austin, you know, pointed out, you know, it's a natural ground, of course, you know, where, you know, they have a good pitch, you know, to play on. But you know, Eagles, of course, are a team, you know, that is not predictable, you understand. So when you expect them to win, you know, they lose, and when you expect them to lose, you know, they win. But of course, you know, they must play the game with their heart, knowing fully well that, you know, anything, of course, anything short of victory against Liberia, of course, might make or mar their chances, of course, going to the next round, you know, which comes in February, which comes next year. But for me, you know, the players I'm seeing in camp and with the level of course, work I put in, you know, I expect, you know, the Eagles, you know, to get the maximum 3 points against the Lone Stars.
All right. He expects the Super Eagles to get the 3 points. We all expect the Super Eagles to get the 3 points, and hopefully that will be the case when we play against Liberia. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll talk about Maduka Okoye, what has happened, the contract that is just signed. We talk about the Barcelona legend Xavi Hernandez taking his first training session and what's happening in the camp of the Germans, talking about the World Cup qualifiers. We'll do all of that when we return from this break. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they prepare to face off with Liberia in that crucial World Cup qualifier. And victory in the last 2 matches definitely will take them to the next round of the qualifiers. All right, Austin, let me just quickly come to you because this story happened in your backyard. A lot of people didn't see it coming. It's a good move. Maduka Okoye signing a contract with Watford, contract that starts running from January. Of course, it's still going to end the season with Sparta Rotterdam. But after that, it comes to a new club. And, of course, we want our players in the best leagues in the world. And this one definitely will make us see more of Maduka Okoye.
Yeah, good one. You know, Watford is gradually becoming the team B of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You know? So this seemed to be a good one for Maduka Okoye. He joined from Dutch side Sparta Rotterdam, and he signed on a 5.5-year deal. You know, so that's a lot of years to be spent at Watford. But I've just been trying to look at that Watford team, and I'm saying, is it going in as second choice? Is it going as third choice? On the other hand, I said, look, doesn't matter. He's a professional. You go in there, you make your mark, and who knows? You might just, you know, be flying. Look at Aaron Ramsdale of Arsenal. You know, came from a club that got relegated, and now everybody's talking about him. So football can be that funny sometimes. So let's just say best wishes to Maduka Okoye, because if he does well at Watford, it's a good one for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And that's where I'd just like to leave it at that.
All right, that's a good place to leave it. Let's also quickly talk about the Germans. 5 players in isolation right about now, and COVID-19, of course, still with us. And Oliver Bierhoff announced that 5 of those players would be in isolation as they prepare for some of the crucial qualifiers ahead. And the reason we're talking about this story is that it's not time to let our guards down. COVID-19 is still very much around.
That's a very good way, to put it here, me. And when you take the sort of, steps with professional players, then people will know that you mean business. COVID-19 is still out there, and when you put players on isolation, so people will not start asking questions. They're going to play national team, football, but it's very, very important that they do the right thing, they respect the protocols, and ensure safety. Very, very important. So yes, I love what they're trying to do with this one. I love that they're passing the message of safety and letting persons know, putting your consciousness that COVID-19 is still out there.
All right, so that's it. Let's move on the show. We're pressed for time. Let's really talk about the return of Barcelona legend Xavi Hernandez. I'm going to get Tolu on this one. He's been unveiled at the club. He's held his first training session with the players, some of whom he has played with 3 years. All right, let's quickly take you back to Awka in Anambra State. Let's just show you some pictures of what is currently going on. Just a final look before we wrap things up on the show with regards to the governorship election and the results, the imminent announcement of the results of that election. We told you about election held in one local government today. That has been concluded, and the process of announcing the results is currently going on. What you have on your screen are live pictures from the INEC Collation Center in Awka, Anambra State. The announcement will be made any moment from now, and of course, trust us, we'll keep monitoring that, and we'll let you know. You're probably going to hear it from us first. All right, so these are live pictures from Awka in Anambra State as we await the announcement of the results of that election. All right, we have just about a few minutes to go, and so let's just quickly go to Austin. And Austin, let's talk about Marcus Rashford. He's been receiving a lot of praise, not just for what he does on the field, but humanitarian deeds, his efforts. It's getting special recognition. Austin, take us through the height that Marcus Rashford has been able to reach with all his good deeds and humanitarian services.
And that's what it is, I always say that when people do things that are worthy of emulation, we should honor them. And that's what they've done by giving Rashford the Special Recognition Award. It's a royal honor just to say thank you for all your humanitarian works. On and off the football pitch, this young man is winning. He introduced the free meal at school campaign, and also he's been, jumping at any form of, campaign that will empower young persons. Yeah. The other day he received a doctorate honor, I think, from a university, and now he's getting this honor again. All of these things, is just so good, so that young persons can take a look at Rashford and make him their model.
All right. I guess that's a good place to leave it on the show. But first, I want to thank Tolu Lokpe Atobatele for his time on the show today. Tolu, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll do this again some other times.
The pleasure is all mine. Of course, nice to be here, to talk sport, and also looking forward to be back, someday.
All right, so that's the show today. We hope that you've been able to enjoy everything we've been able to bring to you, even as we keep our eyes on what is going on in Anambra State with regards to the governorship election. So that's the show today. Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
That's the show. Yemi will be back tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday, but until then, in everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.